The Filthy 13 was the name given to the 1st Demolition Section of the Regimental Headquarters Company of the 506th Parachute Infantry Regiment, 101st Airborne Division of the United States Army, which fought in the European campaign in World War II. History. The 1st Demolition Section was assigned and trained as demolition saboteurs to destroy enemy targets behind the lines. Inspired by Jake McNeese's leadership style, the unit had a tremendous mission focus, but their blatant disregard for those aspects of military discipline that did not contribute to the mission became the bane of their officers. The unit acquired the nickname the Filthy 13 while living in Nissen huts in England. A demolition section consisted of 13 enlisted men, and they refused to bathe during the week in order to use their water ration for cooking game poached from the neighboring manor. Photos of the men wearing Indian-style mohawks and applying war paint to one another excited the public's interest in this unit. The inspiration for this came from Jake McNeese, who was part Choctaw during the Normandy invasion of Europe in June 1944. The group was airdropped with a 3rd Battalion, 506th Parachute Infantry Regiment by aircraft of the 440th Troop Carrier Group of the United States Army Air Forces. They were ordered to secure or destroy the bridges over the Douve River. Half were either killed, wounded or captured on the jump, but the rest, led by Jake McNeese, accomplished their mission. Unfortunately, most of the 3rd Battalion leadership had been killed on the initial jump, so without any contact with the 3rd Battalion, senior officers assumed the battalion had failed its mission and ordered the Air Force to bomb the bridges. The Filthy 13 also participated in the capture of Carentan during Operation Market Garden. The demolition platoon was assigned to defend the 3 bridges over the Dommel River in Eindhoven, the Netherlands. German bombing of the city killed or wounded half the demolition's men in the platoon, and McNeese was then promoted to platoon sergeant. Jack Womer took his place as section sergeant. For the rest of the campaign, the demolition's men secured the regimental command post to protected wire-laying details. On one occasion, the survivors of the demolition's platoon were assigned as a rifle squad to an understrength company. After coming back AWOL from Paris after Market Garden, McNeese volunteered for the Pathfinders, thinking he would never make another combat jump. These were paratroopers sent in ahead of the main force to guide them in a guide and resupply drops. Half the surviving members of the original Filthy 13 followed him into the Pathfinders, thinking they would sit out the rest of the war training in England. To their surprise, they parachuted into the encircled town of Bastogne at the height of the Battle of the Bulge, anticipating casualties as high as 80 to 90%. The 20 Pathfinders lost only 1 man. Their CRN-4 beacon enabled them to guide in subsequent airdrops of supplies crucial to the continued resistance of the trapped 101st Airborne Division. McNeese considered that any activities not directly concerned with his mission were irrelevant, an attitude that got him in constant trouble with the military authorities. Nevertheless, McNeese finished the war as the acting first sergeant and with 4 combat jumps, a very rare feat for an American paratrooper. His combat jumps included Normandy, the Netherlands as a part of Operation Market Garden, the Pathfinder jump into Bastogne, Belgium, during the Battle of the Bulge, and as an observer with the 17th Airborne Division during Operation Varsity. Of the activities of the Filthy 13, Jack Agnew once said, "We weren't murderers or anything. We just didn't do everything we were supposed to do in some ways and did a whole lot more than they wanted us to do in other ways. We were always in trouble." Quote, members: Jack Agnew, W.I.A. Normandy, Bastogne Pathfinder, George Baran, W.I.A. Normandy, Roland Frenchy, R. Baribeau, K.I.A. Normandy, Robert S. Ragsman, Cone, P.O.W. Normandy, Charles Moore, Darnell, P.O.W. Normandy, John Dewey Bastogne Pathfinder, Charles Trigger, Gann, P.O.W. Bastogne, James F. Piccadilly Willie Green, P.O.W. Normandy, John Peepnuts Hale, K.I.A. Normandy, James E. Lala Leach, P.O.W. Normandy, Louis Lulip Lip, W.I.A. Normandy, Thomas Oldman Lonergan, Max Majeski Bastogne Pathfinder, Miguel Mike Marquez, Lieutenant Charles Mellon, K.I.A. Normandy, Jake McNeice Bastogne Pathfinder, Frank Shorty Milan transferred to HQ John H. Dinty Moore, Joseph Joe Olskowicz, K.I.A. Holland, Frank Pallies, Herbie Pierce, Charles Chuck Plauder, George Gugu Radecker, K.I.A. Normandy, Andrew Andy Rasmussen, W.I.A. Normandy, Brinsley Stroop, injured in practice jump, pre-invasion, Clarence Ware, W.I.A. Normandy, Jack Hawkeye Womer, Tom Young. The list includes original members from 1943 and the newer members during Operation Overlord and Operation Market Garden. An interview with Jake McNeice and Jack Agnew can be found on the 2-disc version of the Dirty Dozen DVD. Jack Agnew died at the age of 88 on the 8th of April 2010. Jake McNeice died at the age of 93 on the 21st of January 2013. Jack Womer died at the age of 96 on the 28th of December 2013. Literature and cultural influence. The 101st Airborne Division issued a press release on the unit, but war correspondents embellished the story. War correspondent Tom Hodge started the ball rolling when he wrote the first article about these paratroopers and coined the name of the Filthy 13, in an article for the Stars and Stripes. 9 June 1944. Filthy 13 squad rivaled by none in Leaping Party. Quote, Arch Whitehouse wrote an article for True magazine that had some of the myths that would eventually find their way into E. M. Nathanson's book The Dirty Dozen, which was the basis of the 1967 film of the same name. Whitehouse wrote, they called themselves the Filthy 13, and took pride in the reputation they had of being the orneriest, meanest group of paratroopers who ever hit this base. Whitehouse also claimed the original 12 members were full-blood Indians who had sworn not to bathe until they jumped into combat, and it required their new lieutenant to beat each one in a fight in order to win the respect. This edition of this new member changed their name from the Dirty Dozen to the Filthy 13. E. M. Nathanson was informed by a friend who worked on documentaries for the war about a unit of condemned prisoners who were sent on a suicide mission. More likely one of the Filthy 13 myths. Searching the archives of condemned prisoners, Nathanson found no evidence of such a unit. More likely since he was searching the wrong path, but used the information gathered for his novel published in 1965, which was later turned into a blockbuster movie in 1967. Barbara Maloney, the daughter of John Agnew, told the American Valor Quarterly that her father felt that 30% of the movie's content was historically correct, including a scene where officers are captured. Unlike the Dirty Dozen, the Filthy 13 were not convicts. However, they were men prone to drinking and fighting and often spent time in the stockade. Richard E. Kilbane wrote Jake McNeese's version of the unit in The Filthy 13, 2003, and Stephen DeVito wrote Jack Wimmer's version in Fighting with the Filthy 13. The World War II story of Jack Wimmer, Ranger and Paratrooper. 2012. Kilbane followed up both books with a more accurate history of the unit that included nearly all surviving members' accounts in war paint. The Filthy 13 Jump into Normandy. 2013. Jerome Preisler wrote an excellent account of the Bastogne jump in his History of the World War II. Pathfinders. First to jump. How the band of brothers was aided by the brave paratroopers of the Pathfinder Company. In 2014. The Filthy 13 has been translated into French, Swedish and Spanish. Morin Picard included a chapter about Jake McNeese and the Filthy 13 in his book, Des Héros Ordinaires, au cœur de la Seconde Guerre mondiale, The Ordinary Heroes of the Second World War, published in 2016. The cover of War Paint. The Filthy 13 Jump into Normandy shows a copy of a commissioned painting by Joel Iskovitz, depicting the Filthy 13 getting ready for their jump into Normandy. The Stevens County Carrari Military Museum in Tucker, Georgia commissioned a bronze bust of Jake McNeese. See also Pathfinder, Military, The Dirty Dozen, The Filthy 13, The True Story of the Dirty Dozen, Amazon.com. Jack Wimmer and Stephen DeVito. Fighting with the Filthy 13. 1. Richard E. Kilbane and Brian Miller. War Paint. The Filthy 13 Jump into Normandy. 2. Jake McNeese speaks to AMBUCs in Enid, Oklahoma. Enid News.com.